What's good, YouTube, and welcome to the house. No, today I'm here in behalf of John. John is currently on his honeymoon. Congratulations on the marriage, by the way. So he asked his good friend DZ to come over and do a guest upload. And actually, I had a pretty good idea for his channel that I thought he might want to do, but if he's going to be gone, thought I might as well do it. And one of the things that I get asked, and I'm sure he gets asked a lot, is what do I play if I'm like getting into the game? What's like the best budget options for someone that maybe wants to try out the game but not like totally invest? Not everyone has hundreds of dollars to invest into a new game, so if they're gonna play Yu-Gi-Oh and they want to get some good starter cards, I think these are some of the best early purchases for a budget player. And yeah, we're on TCG Player here. Now I will give full disclosure, unlike John, I am actually sponsored by TCG Player. This video isn't sponsored, but I did want to say, like, one of the reasons I'm not using eBay is because I have ties to TCG Player, although certainly if you don't want to use TCG Player, there are other means to get cards. It's not the only website. Well, yeah, so I just thought I would show some cards that you guys can get if you are looking for budget purchases that can go in many different decks. I think that's like, from someone that used to be a budget player, one of the best things that I learned near the end of being a budget player is that you really want to maximize all of your purchases. That basically means don't buy packs, don't buy boxes, just buy singles of cards you can put in many different decks. And that's really useful because for a budget player, cards that can be used multiple times over multiple formats and multiple different decks, you're going to get the most value out of those cards, which really helps them get the best bang for their buck. So anyway, let's jump right in. The first card I want to talk about is Heavy Storm Duster. You might have seen this card a lot already. It's seen a ton of play at the top levels of competition. It likely will be good for months to come. This card is really well positioned right now against Sky Strikers, against Trickstars, against Altergeists, and kind of True Dracos. And it's currently been printed twice, once in Code of the Duelist and once in 2018 Megatins. I mean, come on, guys, it's under $1 here. This one's 78 cents for the first editions. You really can't get much better than that. Yes, this card is meant more for slower decks, and we'll talk about one of those at the end of this video. I do have 2 deck recommendations for someone that's just starting out this game. But if you're looking to play like any deck that's slower, I know a lot of rogue strategies, they might revolve around trap cards, maybe not so much like the big spell and monster heavy decks of the actual like competitive decks that are topping a lot of events. But if you're playing a rogue deck and you're going to locals, I think Heavy Storm Duster will be perfect. Obviously, you want to play it when you're going first. It's an excellent side deck card. I just think in general, Heavy Storm Duster is an awesome card for this format and the past couple formats, so it's a good purchase at less than $1. The next card we're talking about, the one card that not everyone likes, Pot of Desires. So obviously the Dark Illusion price, $16, but if you're a budget player, you don't have to buy that version. You can buy this version, the Megatin version, which is from 2017, so it's a year old. $4 for Pot of Desires. Now, whether or not you like Pot of Desires, that doesn't matter too much to this, but this is worth noting that Pot of Desires, without a doubt, is one of the most popular spell cards in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! History. It is played in so many decks, competitive and budget alike, and for $4, I mean, that's $12 a playset. That is such a steal. As someone that spent $60 a copy when they first came out, the Secret Rare, I can say that I got my value out of that $60. I played it for years and still am playing it in a variety of decks. So for $4, I mean, that's just insane. So if you're looking to pick up some cards that you can put in a lot of different decks, unlike Heavy Storm Duster that might only go in like slower strategies, Pot of Desires can pretty much be splashed in any strategy, whether or not you play 1 or 2 or 3 copies, that's up to you. But I think for $4, I mean, yes, you could buy a 2017 Megatin, try to pull some cool stuff, or with the money that you would spend on one tin, you could just buy a playset of Desires and play it in tons of strategies. So Pot of Desires, awesome buy. There's tons of copies. This isn't like a market watch of these cards are going to go up in price, but these cards actually should maintain this price for a while, so I think that's a really good purchase. And then we have another card I highly recommend, Solemn Strike. So once again, kind of like Heavy Storm Duster, this is going to go in slower decks. Yes, there are expensive versions of this card. We see the $60 version from the OTS pack. We see Breakers of Shadow version. The Secret Rare still at around $10 or whatever, depending on if you get it near mint or something. But there's multiple printings. We have, first off, 2016 Megatins, a little bit less expensive, about half the price of the normal printing. Then we have the Code of the Duelist version that was in the special edition, that was super rare. And then recently we got the Relentless Revenge version from Battles of Legend. Just in general, if you really want to buy packs, the Battles of Legend packs are actually amazing. Both of them so far have just been crazy in terms of like how many reprints are in there that are actually playable. Way higher percentage or way higher ratio of good cards to bad cards than a lot of the core sets that have just a bunch of garbage cards, even at the higher rarities. In terms of Battles of Legend though, almost all the cards are playable. It's really good. But Solemn Strike, $4. Once again, maybe not like Pot of Desires that it can be put in every single deck, but maybe more like Heavy Stormduster that in pretty much any slower strategy you're going to play, pretty much any rogue strategy you're going to play, if you're going to play at locals, Solemn Strike is just a fantastic card to pick up. And I think that at $4, I mean, you really can't go wrong. I mean, once again, this is a card, just like Pot of Desires, that was more than $50, $60 a copy at one point for the Breakers of Shadow Secret Rare version. So I think as someone that, I mean, back then I didn't even purchase this card. I thought it was too pricey. So to see it nowadays, the Breakers of Shadow version being less than $10, and then you can get it for like $4, that's a pretty big deal. I think you can't go wrong. And the next card, maybe a little more expensive. Okay, so we're talking about Gamma Seal, we're talking about Kaijus, the Secret Rare version, Battles of Legend, Relentless Revenge. Even though Battles of Legend is a reprint set, the Secret Rare is kind of the highest rarity. It's the only holographic printing of this card, $7. But if you scroll down, you can get the Megaton version for $5. I think that's pretty good. Maybe, I don't know, I guess with shipping these are like $6. Everyone always gets you on that. So it's like $6 a copy. Pick up 2, it's like $12. Yeah, it's not a playset for the same price as Pot of Desires. It's a couple dollars more expensive. Can't really go wrong with these Gamma Seals though. I mean, this is a card that pretty much ever since Dimensions of Chaos came out, which is way back in 2016, it's been a staple side deck card. It's easily the best and most versatile Kaiju to play. Reason being, it has the lowest amount of attack points, which usually is a bad thing, but in the case of a Kaiju monster, we give it to your opponent. It's actually a good thing because you want to be able to run it over. If you don't want to purchase Gamma Seal, if you really can't sort of break the bank on that $5 or $6 a copy, I'd suggest just any of the other Kaiju monsters, just starting with the next lowest attack would be like Humongous, and then the ones after that. Kaijus just in general, even if you can't afford the ones with lower attack, you can usually just pick up the copies for like a couple bucks each. So that's pretty good. I would just highly suggest though saving up and buying Gamma Seals. They're just way more versatile. The other ones are better if you're playing like Interrupted Kaiju Slumber, but if you're just trying to splash a couple Kaijus and not like Kaiju Slumber and like try to do stuff with that card, Gamma Seal's like the one that everyone goes to. This card's been relevant for so many formats that it's just really hard to not recommend someone buying a Kaijus. I think once again, with all these cards on this list, I think one thing I should have mentioned is that I really feel that none of these cards have a chance of getting hit on any forthcoming sort of ban list. I know we just got a ban list, but I think another thing you're trying to think of in terms of how should I focus on buying which cards, what should I use to decide that, really picking up cards that won't get hit. None of these cards have been hit yet, and 3 of these cards have been out for like years, which is really cool. So I think that the chances of these cards getting hit, maybe like Solemn Strike is like the highest chance, but even then I'm not so sure. People seem to not be playing that card anymore. They're not just randomly going to hit Gamma Seal. That's not going to happen. So in terms of like purchase, like you're like making purchases that won't go away or won't devalue, I think these are all good. As far as individual cards go, I think those are like the main ones. Maybe like Called by the Grave is a good one as well. But as far as decks go, I have like 2 suggestions that I constantly give on my stream when people ask me like, what decks should I play if I'm just starting out, I don't want to spend a lot of money. First suggestion, Frogs. I love Frogs. I mean, I've played both these decks that I'm going to mention, but Frogs are like the ultimate budget control deck. You can see totally awesome. $5. You can buy 2, you can buy 3, buy whatever, and then all the other cards. Okay, this is like a bad example because they're showing like the higher rarity versions of Duke Frog and Rotonin, but all these other cards like you can just buy and like Swap Frog isn't like you're not going to spend $60 on a Swap Frog. You can just get the commons of these cards. You can see like the Paleozoic, they're like super cheap, like 15 cents. Paleozoic Olenoids. Guess what? Paleozoic Olenoids is the best Paleozoic monster and it's 15 cents. It's not a monster, it's a trap card unless you special summon from the graveyard. But Paleozoic Olenoids, best Paleozoic, it's 15 cents. You'll find similar things when you buy the common versions of these Paleozoics. Even these higher rarity versions are only $1. You don't have to buy those, you certainly can if you want to. And also, I mean, fun fact, if we go through these cards I've mentioned, guess what all 4 of them can be played in? You guessed it right, it's Paleozoics. So Frog Paleozoics, awesome control deck. I think one thing that I like about specific budget decks like Frog Paleozoics and like another one that I'm going to mention here, I think good budget decks are decks that you can build for dirt cheap and then expand upon. If you think of a deck like, I don't know if Goki's is like the best example, pretty much you either play the competitive version or you don't play it. It's not really like you can build a budget version that's actually made competitive. However, in the case of like a Frog deck, you can build a pretty cheap version that's going to have some success at like a locals and maybe even get your invite or regional qualifier. And then if like 6 months down the line you want to add some extra expensive cards to it like Ash Blossom, you can just throw them in there. I think that's really what a good budget deck should do. It should give people a starting point and then let them expand upon it. If you don't want to play control deck, the other deck I'm going to suggest is Dinosaurs. I know my stream, it's gotten to the point where on my stream, when people ask what budget deck should I play, they say, but not Dinosaurs. And the reason being is that it's not that they don't want to play Dinosaurs, it's just that this is the one that I always suggest. So I'll suggest it here too. Dinosaurs are one of the best investments. As someone who bought these structure decks at $10 a piece, I can tell you got so much value out of that deck. I played it at so many different events. I've given it out to people to borrow for events that don't have a deck at that moment. Dinosaurs are just incredible. A little bit more expensive than Frogs. You need to buy some other cards like the Double Evolution Pill and the Overtext are in particular a kind of more expensive than I would consider budget for this type of deck, because you have to buy multiple copies of them and they can't be played in any other deck. I think that buying multiple copies of cards like Desires is good. They can play in a lot of things, but like Double Evolution Pill is like 10 bucks I think, and that card you can only play in Dinosaurs. But even if you just buy 3 copies of structure deck, you can't really find them at $10 anymore, but maybe like 15 bucks or $45, you can make a pretty competent deck. They have some good cards in there, like Twin Twisters. All the Dinosaurs are good. You got some Quaking Mirror Force, you got stuff like that that can be played in a variety of strategies. Anyway though, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video on John Moore's channel. Feel free to check out my channel if you haven't heard of it. I don't really do these sort of budget advice comms. I'm more of a discussion channel, but certainly check it out if you want to. I'm sure John will throw it in the description, or he won't because he hates me. No. But thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you later. Make sure to check out John's channel. Make sure to check out my channel, and goodbye.